Hi. Hi, hello, hi, and hello. And welcome to 16 Symbol. I was about to say it in French, but I forgot what 16 means. How to say 16. I was going to say soixante, but I think that's 60. Hey. It doesn't matter. I'm English. And as a consequence, I have a begrudging hatred of all other languages. Hello, Chibi. How you doing? Are you having a good Tuesday and or beginning to the week in total? In total? What? Have you done your weekly accounting? What? I don't know. You expect me to actually pay attention to what I'm saying at the beginning of a stream? I sure don't. Yeah. It's 16 symbols. It's a thing we do. I'm reliably informed. Come in here and say, I'm English and I had hatred for other languages. I just couldn't remember the French word for 16. That was all. And so I thought I'd make a thing of it because I'm English and as a consequence do not know any language other than English. That is our bullheaded way. It was you came in halfway through a half-baked thought, and as a consequence it was never going to end well. I would like to learn another language. Unfortunately, I don't really have any use to learn another language, and if I don't have a use to learn anything, my brain doesn't like keeping it. I've tried many times. Yeah, you having a good start to the week? Because apparently it's Tuesday. And apparently Tuesdays are my low energy days, it turns out. Wonderful for this being the stream that requires probably the most creative energy. You've had a good start for the week. Yeah. Marvellous time. Eccellenti. Cool. My start has been very similar to most weeks. Except that I opened up commissions. But there's just lack of response means it's basically the same. You've had many a dishonored thought, and you honestly should write them down before you forget. Probably, yes. Also, I need to send you my picture of my character's contact, which I very quickly did yesterday. Yay for me opening commissions. Hopefully somebody wants one. We'll see. But anyway, they're open now. It only took, 4 or 5 weeks of me going, you really should open them today. After a year and a half of me going, you should open them at some point. But hey, we're here now. I probably should put something in the scroll for the stream. But hey, these things happen. I've also almost finished a new video, and that's good. Should hopefully get that done tomorrow. Many things. Oh, Chibi Netherlands just joined the chat. That's nice. But yeah, besides that, streaming. So, they did indeed. Shh, don't startle them. That's such a weird, that's not what I've heard. Also, you better be careful because I also see the words "just miss art" joined. So if you start insulting them, might be some strong Scots words coming your way. This is wonderful. That is true. Let's hop on over to 16 Symbols plot synopsis. So we're on the penultimate column. That's how that works, right? And yeah, we've been running up the tower, trying to defeat the company that has been plaguing us through this entire story in ways that haven't been entirely well detailed. But nonetheless, we've been doing it, and we fought our way to the top. And by fought, we mean sort of scrambled, because a thing's gone off, and basically knocked all of the magic out of anything in at least a large radius, thus breaking the bond between person and familiar, thus stopping any any vaguely magical creature from existing in some sort of sapient sense. And we fight our way to the top, and we find capitalist head honcho of the Zibs Corp having a bit of a breakdown at the fact that her familiar is now not responding in any meaningful manner, and it's just a pig snuffling along the floor. We have a bit of a fight with her, and then some mystical mumbo jumbo happens, which we have not yet decided. I assume it's got something to do with poisonness. We'll find out. But thereafter, we have only 3 locations left: 2 long hostile locations and 1 brief respite between. That'll be presumably the sort of last pit stop, the last sort of. Okay, we'll all gather together and have a rest before we go finally into the breach, into the weird and wonderful final location, which usually in these games makes 0 sense. So I guess first things first, we've got to work out what this mystical mumbo jumbo thing is. Yeah, so let's hop on over and do a quick recap of what we drew last time, which was not a lot. We drew the monolithic rectangle building. We then drew our characters running up it. Those still conscious, dragging those no longer. And the goons are also simultaneously, they have their own parallel climbing mission going on, and there's some comedic interactions thereafter. Didn't forget it's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I almost forgot it was Tuesday. For some reason I thought it was Monday, even though I worked yesterday. These things happen. Yeah, then again, my work yesterday mostly consisted of trying to get commissions up and running, so it probably felt different in and of itself. How you doing, Duck? You alright? You having a good start to the week? Getting re-immersed back into Valheim. Doing far too much building. Eventually we will see the new stuff. And maybe I can build a building where every single part of the roof is not red when you hover over it. SMS! Draw witty. We might do. We may well do. You're good. You're having a roast and finally got your COVID jab booked. My word. That's quite a delay. What an organizational system we have in this country. Yay, juice. Juice. Yeah. So that's that. And then we got to the top, and then there's Capitalist having a bit of a stress out over the fact that her little pig familiar is just a pig now. It's a hell of a delay, but hooray for the juice, yes. Eventual juice is better than no juice at all. And then she pulls out a gun and we fight her. Spent a lot of time drawing this for no particular reason. I can't even remember why. But there it is. They phoned you up and gave you options you were not made aware of before. That's, well, it's nice they're taking the initiative as well. So I keep looking over and seeing the dancing Jack Pumpkin. Did I send this to Oobs? I did not. I forgot I drew it. I was like, how can we turn this character into a boss? Well, the head of a company that does a lot of robot stuff. Can't be a robot because they've stopped working, so it has to just be a big machine. But what about a gun? An unnecessarily big gun. I think I was going for asymmetry. That was the focus. Love a bit of asymmetry. Right. What are we doing now? I don't know. Like I say, after this fight, presumably Capitalist is maybe not permanently defeated, but at the very least temporarily. They might come back. And I should send this to Oobs. It's got like, hey, I drew a thing for you today already, but here's this. She's now lowercase. Oh, you and your puns. To be fair, Chibi was rather distracted when building the building because they kept falling off and dying. This is Valheim, by the way. Just GB in real life is not, as far as I'm aware, falling off buildings. Never apologize. Indeed. Dark dragged us into this. He will deal with the consequences. Right. I should also specify for those of you who can't remember 2 weeks back, maybe 3, maybe we missed a week, I'm not sure. At the top of this tower was a machine. This is the machine. And this machine was activated and it went foom, and all of the magic was dispersed, withdrawn. It was something happened to it. It's not where it used to be. And that's what's making all of the people's familiars just turn back into normal animals. That's what's making all of the sentient animals just turn into normal animals. That's what's making all the sentient fungus turn into normal fungus. You don't know the problem. I don't. But I do sincerely hope that's not the case. This was Cat Pedalist because I can't actually draw her. In this style, anyway. Although I already know she looks pretty good in her style for my October thing. Yes, we also got a floppy disk. We don't know what's on it yet. We got a floppy disk from a robot who had something very important to tell us. And then they got turned off because of the machine. It was Orbit. We have Orbit's floppy disk. Maybe that's a mystical mumbo jumbo thing? Well, we're not using the MacGuffin, so I guess we can't do that. I hope we get a use MacGuffin symbol at some point in the next 3 rows, 3 columns. You just pick the place it rains every other day. Oh, lovely. That sounds delightful. Floppy disks, a time before hard plastic. Thing is, they used to be floppy, and then they started selling them as hard ones. And they were the only ones I knew, and I was always confused as to why they were called floppy disks, because they're hard. So no, they used to be actually floppy. I also love the fact that that was the name they called them. Could have called them anything, but they went, no, these are floppy, let's call them floppy disks. Yeah, the original floppy disks were actually flexible. Then they realised that's probably not a good idea. Yeah, so that's that. So what's happening up here then? What is happening on the roof of the world? By which I mean the roof of a very big building. Because I don't. It's probably got something to do with the machine. Oh yeah, Ragdoll was also talking about in the thing in Discord. Let me just get this up. Yes, Ragdoll was saying, like, talking about the motivations of Poison Nurse. And sort of in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, Poison Nurse is trying to resurrect Shrimp God and so on and so forth. But it's entirely possible that that's not what she's trying to do. That just might be a consequence of what she ends up doing. Maybe she's just trying to get the power, because we had the story of Poison Nurse just being knowing about Hippo Goddess and Mo, and being jealous of Mo for just being given the powers that she has, whereas she had to work for them. Gosh darn it! So maybe she's just building a thing to try and get her more power, but she doesn't realise it's actually going to be siphoned into the Shrimp God, so on and so forth. So that's something. We can have a kind of like maybe a villain turnaround story at some point where they're like, oh dear, I didn't realise this was what I was doing. Or I didn't realise this was what I was doing. Shrimp God comes along and goes, aha, I am now all powerful. And then Poison Nurse goes, no you're not. I'm going to take your magic too. Hypmo. 26 streams, we finally got there. With their powers combined, so they can hypnotize. Which will stop the shrimp poison. Shrimp poison. Prawnsian? I don't know. Shrimp poison. Prawners. Prawness sounds like it's against terms of service. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. I like the idea. I personally prefer the idea that Poison Nurse has been doing this to accrue power for herself, and has actually not. She doesn't necessarily believe in the whole cult of shrimp thing, but through it she has learned a lot of stuff about the hippo goddess. He needs to stop playing Cthulhu. Oh god, it's driving me nuts. This is one skip. This is one little technique in the game, and it either takes me 5 seconds to do, or as it did the first time I learned it, 50 minutes. It's great. I think I've got it set up so it's closer to the 5 seconds now. Still a pain. She'd be a good Prawnsian nurse. She's shellfish enough. Aha! Aha! I was gonna do a pun there with like it runs in the family, and then do like puns on the names of Gregory and Schrodinger, but I couldn't think of a good pun. For some reason, I got stuck on barnacle. I'm like Gregornicle. That's not a pun. Schrodinger's catfish. I don't know. Posture, everybody. Okay, I need to draw something because it has been 20 minutes. So what I'm going to say, in lieu of anyone else being here... oh yeah, sorry, Ragdoll also said. Also related to Granny, like the idea of the incarnation we see now isn't the same as the being she was when Shrimp God was wrecking stuff. Maybe she also gave up some of her power and limited herself. It would be a good reason why her gift involves working with what already exists instead of changing it forcibly with magic. So, yeah, I don't know. I forgot to mention back when we got a death symbol. I was like, oh, maybe, you know, maybe this is a good time for Grandma Bonk to die. But it turns out she doesn't die. Her spirit returns to the ether and garners up magical energy, and this hippo goddess becomes a thing. I don't know. Pumpkin Jack is filled with puns and made you think of every time the owl talked. Yes. Many puns in that game. Yeah, Dark was streaming a spoopy Halloween game where you play as a pumpkin, and there are many jokes. What was the last symbol we rolled? What do the stars mean? That is mystical mumbo jumbo. Yeah, magic mumbo jumbo. It's just like something happens that is inexplicable and has no precedent in the story whatsoever. So I'm assuming that's got something to do with the machine, which is drawing magic, and may or may not have something to do with resurrecting a shrimp god. I'm going to start drawing the machine, I guess. After a boss fight, yes indeed. Which feels typical, actually, for this part of these sorts of games, or the Final Fantasy games I've played anyway. You do a boss fight and then boom, all hell breaks loose. Usually the boss ends the fight with the words, "You fool!" Or something along those lines anyway. That's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that. Thank you. Give me colour. We can get cracking. Zoomed in a bit. So yeah, I'll just draw the machine temporarily, and then we can work out what's going on from there. Yeah, I don't know. I probably should have thought about this before we jumped into the stream. Sounds shrimple enough. Everything's shrimple if you give it enough practice. Doesn't work. Sounds about right that everything would fluctuate and resurrect a god. This is about the time in the story this would happen. There was an orb. I feel like all there were like rings around the machine, weren't there? That's orb friend. Yeah, a bunch of rings and stuff. Doesn't have to be extraordinarily accurate. Just 99%. If there's another boss fight after, you'd go with the boss for round 2, but with powers given by something else. That's normal JRPG stuff. Yeah. Like, well, we're at the end of this area, but I don't know where the next area is. So, yeah, so I reckon all the rings are now sort of spinning wildly around. They're all at different orientations. Yeah, this is accurate. It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's a mystical magical machining. It can break geometry. Why not? Does this mean I'm actually going to have to start drawing a prawn god? Maybe not. Maybe we just see like a big silhouette or something outside the window. So maybe, like in my head, the simplest solution to this is Poison Nurse is standing by the machine, it's whirring round, there's lots of flashing lights and all these sorts of things. And Poison Nurse is like, yes, give me power, etc. And then all the magical juice is absorbed into her and she's, yes, more power. Give me the power I deserve, etc, etc. But then halfway through it's like, vroom, it disappears and she's like, no, what's happening? This isn't going to plan. And then it all whooshes out the window and then we hear a big old eldritch scream and see a huge shrimp silhouette rising over the horizon. That would be how I expect this to go. Because, you know, how many times have we seen that in a story, eh? These sort of concentric really. I feel like this could also be a boss fight as well. Just this thing going mad, spinning around. You often get these sorts of fights in these games. Just a strange object that's too powerful for its own good. Got little things are now sort of properly opened up. There's a fight in Final Fantasy IX. I don't think this is spoilers if I ever do a draw through of it. There's a fight in Final Fantasy IX where you basically fight a plane? And I don't know if it's supposed to be sentient or not. I think it might be. I think it might be like a Transformer sort of thing. But it's just so unlike anything else in the game. And it's like a plot critical thing. But this is like a traditional fantasy world with dwarves and magic and stuff. And it's like, hey, you're fighting a fighter plane. Go. Shrimp silhouette. To be fair though, that is just before the moment that game just loses me, because love the game, love the first 2/3 of that game, then it just goes nuts. So this is spinning around, and I feel like this is like a kind of Poison Nurse is over here, doing a nice evil. An evil sort of pose. The hat's sort of blustering around. Yeah, I don't know whether her familiar is safe. I assume so. I assume she's some sort of shielding. Maybe that's why it was wearing the balaclava. Special magical balaclava. You wouldn't really expect less from 9. 9 is so consistent. Right up until the end. And it's like, do we have any ideas? No. Throw everything at the wall. Go. Nine is the closest Final Fantasy, I would say, to having a good story. None of them do, but it's the closest. You not got that bit far, but you've heard of it. I mean, a lot of people probably think about like the very, very end, but for me, it all starts about 2/3 of the way through. But still, 2/3 of the game is really good. More than can be said for 8. That said, if we do the draw through, Mrs. Bin will probably be fairly active, if only for the misadventures of our main character. Not even sure you got to the second disc, to be fair. You remember bits, but not the order they occur. That's fair. Ready's the bin. That's fair. Honestly, like, you know, I love FF9. Don't care much for the main character because, quite frankly, the main character isn't the main character. At least not until near the end of the game, anyway. Most of the story revolves around 2 other characters who I consider to be the main characters of the game. So, and they're good. I like them. One of them is Vivi, and he's the best. Also, the entire game is about existentialism, so that's nice. Do the Rat Knights live in a big tower sort of thing in the desert? Kind of. I won't spoil, but pretty much. It's not a tower, but it is vertical. Also, not all the rats live there. Some of them live elsewhere. Speaking of rats, FF9 does also have some characters where you're like, you deserved more story. You had a story that lasted 5 minutes and it didn't go anywhere. You deserve better than that. It's a flawed game. It was very rushed. You got that far. Okay, so that is just after disc 1. Things start to get weird around then. But weird in a way that is predictable for that sort of game. Weird as in like, well, something's got to happen to this world to make it interesting. But yes, one day we'll do an FF9 roll through. And you'll learn to appreciate Vivi as much as I do. And hate most of the rest of the characters. I might do a challenge, might see if I can write out a character without anyone noticing. I don't think I can, I think they're quite important, but they annoy me. You're great. Hey, Pauline, you might want to turn it back a smidge. Never, brother. The party looks at them like, wait, what? FF9, oops, all Vivi. Oh, if only. If only. Poor little lovable, confused little Vivi friend. It also contains the series' first non-binary character, which is a plus. However, on the downside, they are a food clown, so... I mean, there have been plenty of androgynous characters, but this is explicitly referred to as he/she, which obviously they didn't use they at the time, but. You leave them alone. I quite like them, you know? But you got to admit, you know, it is a fact that they are the first, you know, non-binary character, but it's not in the best way. If you don't. You don't. Clowns can be people too. I had what I can only assume is an extraordinarily unpopular thought the other day. And it essentially ties into the fact that to me, clowns to me aren't that. They are unsettling because you can't see their face. And anything you can't see the face of is always slightly unsettling for me. But it essentially comes from the fact that, yeah, literally anything you can't see the face of is unsettling to me. And so my brain thought, hang on, is drag modern clowning? Like, obviously clowns are more like leaning into the humour side of things, and drag is leaning more into the sort of, I don't want to say acerbic, I don't really know the sort of phrase, sort of more gritty wit, but like it's a similar sort of process, isn't it? Again, almost certainly an incredibly unpopular opinion. But drag has the same effect on me, that kind of like, I can't see your face, slightly intimidating. They just got an overabundance of confidence that is unsettling. Incredibly over the top makeup and clothing. Both for the purposes of sort of entertainment, but just with a different desired outcome, as it were. You're not knowledgeable enough to argue why. Your gut just says no. That's like I say. I'm sure this is an incredibly unpopular opinion. It just popped into my head the other day, and I'm like, my brain can't argue my way out of that thought. In the same way that your brain can't argue into it. Hey, Kiro. We're talking about how good Final Fantasy IX is. And how Vivi should be the whole thing. How are you? How's the beginning of your week been? Also, how's the beginning of your week been, miss? You look a kind of no sort of thing. This hat is just an absolute floppy mess. If the nine's very good, yes, more Vivi. I always wondered if Vivi, like the name Vivi was like, you know, the series is named after Roman numerals. Is there something going on there? 666? Is that? I don't know. Sort of confused by it. Or 541. I don't know. Just to try not to dig a hole in regards to drag. I stand by my point. I'm not saying that they have similar outcomes, I'm saying that they have similar processes. They don't have a similar outcome to me, as I say, because, you know, it unsettles me, but the same is true of people who just wear a lot of makeup, and I'm not going to tell people to not wear a lot of makeup. They can do whatever the hell they want, it's their face. Alright, you're eating an ice cream cone at the moment, you can't complain, fantastic. It's now your weekend. Looks like you're having Tuesday and Wednesday off for a while, so you slept in. Again, that's better than not being able to sleep. Hooray. Isn't Vivi just the 66th? I don't know. It's sort of... I'm not gonna... spoilers. No, it wouldn't make sense in the story because of who named them. and also the order in which things happen. I can't talk about because A, spoilers, and B, nobody wants to hear me blather on about this game more than is necessary. So what shall I blather about instead? I don't know. Hope you're doing alright. I'm doing alright. I'm upsetting anyone who likes drag. Again, I just want to specify. Anyone can do whatever the hell they want. You know, with themselves. Whatever makes them happy. You go right ahead. It's just my weird caveman brain's like, can't see face, freak out. Frame man? Oh, for God's sake. Honest. Is that on my end? Is that bandwidth? There's a bit of a fluctuation. Oh, you're always here for FF9 talk. I just don't want to spoil it too much because that might be a draw through in the future. Probably will be a draw through in the future. But... might be Twitch. Possibly. We have dropped a few frames here and there. But I'm going to blame Twitch anyway. Like yesterday's dark stream, I arrived and it was like, you missed this 4-minute stream. But no, I'm pretty sure he's still streaming. Everybody dies at the end, or gets married, or plays some weird ball sport game. I don't think there's a ball sport game in 9. Cards, there's a lot of cards. Death does happen. Surprise, surprise. Death happens in a JRPG. I'm not going to say to whom or to how many. The number will surprise you. I don't know if there's an explicit marriage at the end. I'm trying to think, there might be. I don't know. Shinra? Or finds their sister, not lightning, but the other one? I mean, you're now going beyond my knowledge. My knowledge stops at 10. One day I will play ones beyond. I have 13, I think. I think I got it on Steam. Just never played it. Sarah or Sarah, the sister? Is it Sarah or Sarah? I'd prefer to play 12 before 13. Cowboys and cyborgs and Moogles? There are lots of Moogles in 9. Moogles are they are prolific. Many Moogles. They all have names. I will not remember all of the names. It's like Stiltskin and Kupo and so many. Big chickens. They play less of a role. No, they don't. What am I thinking of? They play a very important role. I spent so much time on the big chickens. I spent more time on the big chickens in that game than I have in any other game. I was confusing 8 and 9. Wasn't Moa also carrying Bramble or something? I can't remember. Yeah. Today's going to be another slow drawing day, it seems. Yes. Okay. There's many Moogles in 12. So many they don't all get names. Oh. You don't know any individual Final Fantasies. Well, I've explained 2 to you. Well, 1.5. I think you arrived halfway through the first one. So I expect you to understand every single thing I told you and remember it for the rest of your life. You've seen 1 movie, that's a bad sign, and bits of other games. Then your draw-throughs, which you also don't remember. Yeah, which movie? Are we talking about a proper movie or the other one? I guess you could actually take that sentence either way. Oh, the sequel movie. Okay, that's fine. I didn't know whether you were talking about Spirits Within, which I did see as a child. Advent Children, the good one. I watched it, and I remember almost nothing about it. I wouldn't necessarily call it good. It was how you found out about Final Fantasy. Oh, okay. From the sequel to the game. He borrowed the DVD from a friend and was very confused. It makes absolutely no efforts to explain anything that's happening. If you haven't played the game, you are screwed. You would have liked Spirits Within as an actual, as a game as opposed to a movie. You like Tifa. Tifa was cool. She had a punch up in a church, and she had the piano version of the main battle theme, which was the best part of the film, as far as I can tell. Anyway, I should stop spending too much time on this. Just get it done. You're not getting a sketch down to do a bloody oil painting or anything. Don't like the guy with the tattoo on his face. Zell? Again, like I've forgotten most of that film, to be honest. Tattoo on his face? They got all their material stolen, Behemoth showed up because they needed at least one summon. Thank you very much. I'm pleased people liked it, particularly you, for obvious reasons. Spoilers! Although I don't think everyone here has seen it. Yes. Okay, big magic stuff happening. So, quickly back to the... Well, I've already explained what's happening at this point, so I might as well just draw it. So, I could probably just cheat... like that, and then like this. Hey, did you know that in Clip Studio you can use transparency as a color? Just click transparency underneath the colors over there, and then you can use it to erase using the brush that you would normally use to paint. It's great, can recommend. Oh, Kiro. Speaking of tough styles to be doing things in, after you sent over your details of your character for me to do next month, Miss randomly chose, unknowingly, what style your character would be in. And it is one of the more complicated, time-consuming, but hopefully decent looking styles. So well done, you picked well. Pikachu has a tattoo on his face too, that's what we named it, alright? Yeah. It doesn't have a tattoo, your brain gave him one. You barely remember what happens in the film. Yeah. Redhead person? Reno. Rabbit. You did not know that. Please tell you more Clip Studio secrets. You can clip folders? I use that a lot. Once I found it. You just remember not liking him. I can imagine you not liking Reno. I can imagine him going straight in the bin. You don't have to. No, you're getting a good one. You've only got one character, but it's worth it. Rabbit Jesse, yeah. Yeah, he has a scar on his eye, doesn't he? Am I making that up? Might be making that up. Reno's a bastard child. Yeah. Please don't go too crazy working on it. That's you. It will not take half the time that Atlas is taking. Trust me. Got a cheek scar. 2 cheek scars. Of course. If there was any, good way of me playing before Crisis, I would know these things. But 10.5 hours minimum. I've got over that for Atlas, definitely. This one I could do in less. It depends. It's not that difficult to style per se, but to get it right might take a long time. If you already know what you're doing, it's not too bad. But I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so magical energy absorbed from the machine, etc., etc. Stage 1. Stage 2. This is an animatic now. Still trying to color in opacity, transparency. Oh, you can, another little tip about Clip Studio, you can drag any tool, particularly like pens and pencils and stuff like that, into any other. So I think when it originally boots up, you have like pens and pencils in separate tools at the sidebar. I just drag them all into the same thing because I don't want to have a different shortcut for each. So all of my pens and pencils are just sub-tools of the same big tool. And then it saves space. So you can just sort of drag it. You can have the lasso tool as a pen. It's entirely up to you. It gets a bit complicated if you want to, mess around with that. But any tool can go in any category. So. There is also a feature if, like me, you're an idiot and you accidentally delete the default tool for something. There is a list of default tools that you can find in the program that's like, restore this because I accidentally deleted the text tool like an idiot. And I need to be able to write things. The way I have my panel set up, delete layer is just below delete tool. So I occasionally accidentally delete tools. Separate's kind of tedious. Yeah. Like that you can simplify. There's a lot of customizability in this. I'm not a huge fan of the material system, but I've learned how to make it work. Scroll through, go to the Clip Studio main thing, not Clip Studio Paint, Clip Studio. And you can find all sorts of really cool pens and pencils and stuff that you can mess around with. The oil painting I did that with a brush I got off of there. Which I don't think was originally designed to be an oil brush, but it is now. What else do I know about Clip Studio? Like I say, clipping things is good. Clipping masks. Also just actual masks, so you can go like, oh, get rid of that, I don't need any of that. But oh no, actually I want it back. That's fun. Temporary erasing. Maybe I'll do a little video on, hey, here's some little tips and tricks that I know from Clip Studio. Maybe it'll help you. That's something you need to do, yeah, look for more pens and brushes and pencils and assets. A lot of people just use the defaults, they're pretty good. Particularly now that they're introducing like dual brushes. Their sort of paintbrush brushes are a lot better than they used to be now. And a lot of the brushes that I used to use in Photoshop now work in Clip Studio, so hooray! Yeah, maybe I'll do a quick little tip video on how to use Clip Studio. Bits and bobs that I know and like and find easy to do, and I've got to remember what things are things I've added and what things are default. Like, is Control G, is that normally clip layer? I don't know, it's Control Shift G. Control G is definitely one of my shortcuts. I brought that over from Photoshop. That's just stick in a group. Because I use groups a lot. Yeah, you can change shortcuts as well, that's another thing. Probably more obvious. Also, auto actions are good. I'm a big fan of auto actions. They're basically, hey, do you do this thing a lot? Do you want to not do this thing a lot? Well, do it once, and then set up a button so that it just does it all in one go. So for example, if I want to copy an entire thing, so I now have this here, which includes the background. I copied the background and the thing that's over it. That is not a function that comes naturally in Clip Studio. Copy merged, which it used to be in Photoshop, so I just made it myself. You've been getting into user-made brushes from the Clip Studio Assets section. It's so handy just to search braid brush and then download them with a click of the button. And then with another click of a button, they're in the program, ready to use. It is, yeah. There's some really good stuff, particularly, yeah, stuff like that, braids and zips and lace trims and stuff like that. There's a lot of good brushes for that. You can make your own. You can also do it with text. So if you want text to go along a wibbly-wobbly shape, then you can write out the text, convert it into a material, and then attach it to a curve. I've done that before. Done that for stickers. Again, maybe these are all things I can stick in a video or something. It all sounds like magic. It's technology. Any technology that is sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic. Is that Arthur C. Clarke? I can't remember. He probably also said it a lot more succinctly and well thought out than me. You are someone who always does zippers, braids, stars, and other ready details by hand. Sounds fake, yeah. I mean, stars are great. They're just sort of there by default. Let's just add some stars. Brilliant. Lovely time. There's lots of different weird and wonderful shapes you can get in there. Sparkle. Ooh. You can also crash the thing with it. Ah, sparkles. Ooh. No, that sounds like a lifesaver. It's great. They're things you gotta learn, but once you learn them, they be good. Ebony's are good. Mo has moved.
I heard that.
Oh no. It's you with your miniatures and brushes and paint and lack of an undo button? You know, I'm sure you know loads of techniques of dry brushing and the oils and the wet crevice stuff. Thought I wouldn't have the foggiest idea. Just learning techniques. Just so happens that my techniques have been hard-coded into a program and your techniques have been learned over many, many years. People just trying stuff out. I follow some people who do a lot of Warhammer-y bits and bobs, and I'm like, I don't know half of the things you're saying. You drew a Star Wars image for a Secret Santa gift exchange last winter, and one of your prompts was stars. You thought Midabang had a star brush or something you could use as one. It did not. You drew them all yourself. Oh no. See, what I would do is I would make my own simple tileable texture. Just draw like 20 stars in like a square, and then just tile it around in such a way that you can't tell. Tricky, but you know. Which is absolutely not how the night sky works. The night sky is chaos, there is no pattern. But yeah, like I say, there's great brushes you can use for... Look at that. Ah, sparkly. I am erasing stars from a solid background. It's all coming together. Anyway, the energy is now going out the window. Literally. But yeah, basically, the way it is, you have a thing here, which is where you set up your tool, and you have a brush tip, and then you can just stick whatever image you want in the brush tip, like a star or a bit of a zip or whatever, and that's the thing that will be copied as you draw. In this case, it's a triangle. You can't tell because there's lots of triangles, but if I just do one tap, you can see the triangle. Here it is. Glory Pauling, say what is, you said you had this under control. It's definitely not going to be, you know, it's going to be something that's going to be brought up at every family Christmas party. Hey Pauline, do you remember that time? Yes, yes, I do. Well, we're in the rectangle building, should be rectangles. Actually, that's cheat. Also, lovely, big fan of these once you get your head around them. Symmetrical rulers. Hooray. Boom. Now I only have to draw one. They've got their own thing. There's lots of different types of rulers, perspective ones, which are a bit fiddly, to be fair. You still have to be good at drawing to draw the lines, though. Or I guess you could just click, hold shift, and then draw a line. Like that. Probably easier, should have just done that from the beginning, to be honest. Great, I'm telling Mother and all of your friends from school. One of my favourite uses for the symmetrical tool, because you can define how many lines it has. So you go, oh, I want 7 lines. There we are. I just do 7 things at once. Kaleidoscope time. So in particular, what you can do with that is you can go, right, I want, you have choice as to whether or not you use line symmetry or rotational symmetry. If you do rotational symmetry, you can go like that, like that. And then you can make quick little, close off your ends. Make quick little spirally things. I use that all the time for backgrounds. You don't know whether it is, are you just being silly? They're probably here. They've been climbing up the building as well. They might be in the vents while this is all happening, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Chippy's got it.
Now animate it.
You can animate. There is an animation window in this, which again is also takes a bit of getting used to. But once you have gotten used to it, I've done a few animations. It's not bad. I don't know if you can put audio in. That's something I'm going to have to look into. Animated. Look at people with goons who aren't currently paperweights. To be fair, though, you can hold down a lot of paper. There's some buildings and stuff. I don't know what perspective's going on here. Don't worry about it. But I could know if I used the perspective tool. Insert another tutorial.
Animate. It. Listen, I've just gotten up. I had a late night and need a coffee.
I think you still said animate. Which I guess that is a word. Like the opposite of inanimate. If something is animate, it has movement. But chances are people are going to want to say animate rather than animate. You know, want the verb, not the adjective.
Animate.
Animate. It's when they make friends with the Terminator. Terminator. You wouldn't trust using because a candle is find a way to burn stuff somehow. Somehow, it's just a cursed candle now. Or he's watching for the vent. Brown's right behind him. Go, what's happening? Get out of the way!
Animate.
It was still animate, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, you just typed in animate, which is literally the same pronunciation. Hazel's doing her best, yes. How about like the name Annie and then mate? Would that work?
Animate.
Annie, mate. First yeet, and now Arnie, mate. Yeet and Cthulhu.
Little do they realize I'm doing this on purpose.
This is how you get more work. Hazel does make an appearance in the new video. Anyway, that's happening. Meanwhile... what I should do. It's raining quite heavily now. Oh, that's another shortcut I forgot I set up. When I press F2, that's expand and fill. Expand and fill selection, which is nice. Although it is somewhat redundant by the fact that you can actually just have the paint bucket do that. It's got an area scaling option, but what are you gonna do? Well, there's be storm clouds anyway. At some point, I'm going to have to design this as a proper boss. But that day is not today. It's chug when you make your brushes big. Yeah, if you got, like I say, lots of triangles in a row and they're this big. Ooh. Particularly if you do like a long sort of thing, I'll save. If you do lots of scribbling, I put the pen down. It's a future Chris problem. It's fine. To be fair, it's pretty stable when it does that. It just takes a while. There's a lot of individual pixels to mess around. I'm a big fan of ominous things floating in the sky. Not flying, just floating.
It's the Riddler.
It's the Riddler! What's the expression? The Hitchhiker's one? It floats in the air in exactly the same way that a brick doesn't. I might explain why your drawings sometimes slow down when you paint stuff. You forget the drawings are actually pretty damn big. Yeah, I tend to... My happy medium is I tend to start with like 2000 by 2000 as a relative safe ground, but when it gets big and the brushes get big, it can definitely chug. Need to read Hitchhikers at some point. I recommend them. I would say don't expect a novel. Expect a series of good sketches. One of them's a novel, and it's weird. But other than that, recommend. The Riddler signaling in the sky, yes. What's... black and white and red all over. Serial killer penguin. Maybe an audiobook version then? I mean, I read them at university while waiting to go into lectures. And it's ideal for that because you just get bits of sketches every time you go in. It's good. It's got some lovely turns of phrase and some very wacky imaginative things. It is slightly of its time. There's a lot of kind of social satire almost. But I think it should still hold up. You know, it's not a story you're going to get attached to any characters. I probably should have it something that's like the magic's going there. I mean, what I should do, rather than waiting for that, is getting a simpler brush. Oop. Right there. Calm down. Get a simpler brush like the soft brush. Takes a lot less time. Do most of the work with that. And then just a little bit of detailing around the edges. Oop. Still on the soft brush. Not a great picture. This is creepy. I'm glad. It should be. This is the one. This is the one FMV, not FMV, but one pre-rendered cutscene in the game that's just like photorealistic. And clearly they blew all the budget on it, and the rest of them are plasticky and weird. All seafood proprietors panicking, the shrimps have come to seek revenge! Trod. Or prod, if you prefer. Or Gorn. Gimp? Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. No, Shrod. Shrod. Yeah, no, I can't think of anything else. Definitely Shrod. So, that's happening. Shrimp God returns. Big moment. Mystical mumbo jumbo. This was uncalled for. Oh, it's literally called for. Somebody had to do this. Here's the thing, quick question. Obviously, in my head, this was not Poison Nurse's explicit doing. Was it? Was she tricked into doing this? Was it just accidental? Was she sort of like, you know, whispers in the ear at night by the remnants of the shrimp god, convincing her to do this thing? Like, she thinks she's doing it under her own steam, but she's actually being manipulated from the subtle words of a disembodied deity, or maybe from the followers of the deity. I don't know. Interesting. Poisonous. Oh crap, it actually worked. More rulers. Oh, not that one. Ooh. Is that lightning? That might have been lightning. Yeah, that's thunder. Wonder where Kiki is. Shrimp God! I've summoned Shrimp God! This was not the plan! Oh, this is something I learned recently. There's multiple different settings you can have for like a fill bucket. Is it going to pay attention to only the layer you've clicked on, or to other layers, and so on and so forth? There's a cool, handy thing in one of the settings, which is, hey, refer to other layers, but only layers that I've selected with a little lighthouse icon. That's nice. Yeah, there we go. Do that the other way around. So this is a reference layer. So I don't have to worry about the fact that I've done a marbled background and that's going to interfere with all of the things. No, just the line art is going to... That's something I found only recently. Little things like that. It's just very nice little features that the program doesn't tell you, but... Strings, nets, fishing, shrimp. I wondered why you capitalized Fortuna strangely. It's only when I started singing it I realized. How dare you. Like this may not have been part of the plan. She's twiddling her thumbs, maybe. Like, Yeah, I mean, they did say this might happen in the scrolls and things, but I just didn't think it would, you know? Like a frog, now just a frog. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether she shielded it from the things happening. I don't know. Maybe that still maintains its link. And maybe Poisonous sacrifices her link to Spiky Frog so that Mo and Flo can have their connection so that they together can go and fight the shrimp god. I don't know. Gregori peering through the vent. Ooh, it's gonna be in so much trouble. I was gonna just up here, like. Oh, I guess that doesn't make any much physical sense, but. Also, paint bucket fill erase. It's a weird. That's like a mathematical thing. Multiply by 0, basically. Use the null element. I literally just thought it was a weird translation. You're drawing M and you're sorry? I mean, I don't see how those two things go together. You have this entire super cool cutscene with Shrimp God looming over the horizon and the party looking up in terror, and then Grigori bursts out of a vent and goes, "I'm gonna tell Mum!" Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know if it's in there either. Don't you love that everyone is wearing a hat in this drawing? Nobody designed their character as being sellotaped to a bike, so I'm fine. Also, nobody chose like a Stetson. Stetsons are terrible. So the problem with this stream, right, is I'm like, oh, we haven't got that much left. We've got like two long locations and a short location. We'll get there. So far in this entire stream, we've worked on a symbol. One. Takes notes. Next character is a cowboy bike tour. Well. I'm not going to say I'm going to hope for death. Remember when Mo... Remember when she had mushrooms in her hat? I do. They all got eaten. It's fine. It's representative of how many are in your inventory. And how many times did you make me, in this draw through, stop to pick up mushrooms? Never, I'm pretty sure. Are we dragging a giant one around now? Yeah, it's difficult to fit on a hat, though. Hello, Christy. Just about managed to see your name on my screen. It's dark blue, which blends in with the background. But I have my bot here, which your name's in pink on there, so it's great. Mushroom collecting is an optional mini-game in the game. It takes 5 hours. How you doing, Christy? You alright? Also, what's happening with Capitalist while this is all going on? That's just like, oh god, I know where this is going. Your name is orange to you, lol twitch. If you select a color, it will stay like that. But I'm assuming you haven't selected a color, so it's just whatever turns up whenever, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. Is that more thunder? Might be a train. Are we looking out the window of the apocalypse? We are. Quick recap of what's happened. Poison nurse turns on the machine, tries to absorb all of the magic that has been taken from all of the creatures from around the world. But no, the magic wants to go elsewhere. It wants to go out the window. And out the window it goes, into resurrecting Shrimp God. Shrimp God's here! Hooray! Or hooroo. And now we're just looking at that and going, this is not good. And with minigame, you do mean an optional 5-hour-long cutscene with a few QuickTime events. Completely untelegraphed. And if you fail one of them, you go back to the start of the game. Not the minigame, the game. Stoker's here too. Poisonous. Well, guess we're on the same side now. She's like, this is not entirely the plan. You read all my secret things in the lab. You know this wasn't my fault, right? It's not what I was trying to do. I was just trying to become all powerful, that's all. You can respect me for that. So what happens now? Tower gets struck by shrimp lightning and the big old chase down the stairs. I have no idea what your plan was. How are we supposed to know this wasn't your intention? I mean, the instinctive cry of whoops that happened. It's probably a good sign. You made fun of us for not knowing what your plan was. Yeah, but I just thought you would have gotten an idea. Also, I haven't been looking at Discord. Oh yeah, people have been posting things. This has been posting Reno and Rude, or Rabbit and Blank, and Happy Shrimps. They are very cute. They are excited for the coming of their god. And I thought it was obvious. Brand's in there somewhere. I'm trying to work out how to... Just grabbing his hands. Get out the way! I want to see. Is that the right hand? So that would be... Yeah, that would be the metal one, right? Try and keep track of these things. Brand is behind Gregory. His big butt's in the way! There's not many people to draw, is there? Peridot, I guess. Again, like I say, I don't really know what Capitalist is doing. Is she just out of the story at this point? His big butt, he's built like a broomstick. With knee rests. I can imagine Peridot is slightly perturbed by this. What with her being a worshipper of the hippo goddess and stuff. Oh no. I love the idea the brand just immediately assumes it's Grigori's fault. What did you do? I feel like I should apologise to Oobs for her coming up with a cool character with a cool design and personality, and I just turned her into this. The Grigor is still being classy when yelling. Does dumbassery run in the family or something? I mean, yes. And the machine's still doing its thing. Oh, it might be broken now. I don't know. So this is what we should have been doing the whole time. When trying to come up with like, oh, we've got the goons and they have their own whole sort of side story happening while the main story's happening. While I'm drawing, while I'm doing the silly doodles, you guys in chat just roleplay the goons. It'll work great. I don't have to roleplay Wick, just occasionally a knife gets pointed into frame and you're fine. Um... Cool. So, I reckon... Okay, so the thing is... Do not reanimate that candle inside of Gregori's pocket. I don't know how the reanimation's gonna happen. That is something we should probably work out. Because I imagine it happens before... Like I say, in my mind, the way the story would go is that we lose half the people, everything goes wrong. But then, like, just before the final battle, we work out a way to maybe just get just enough energy to get our characters back to go and fight, and then the big finale is all of the magic comes back and everything's grand. Yeah, we should probably find out what the next symbol is. Well, this is the last symbol of this area. So this is the thing, is that the mystical mumbo-jumbo happens maybe for fun. Lightning strikes the building and we got to escape it. There's an escape sequence or something like that. Which, you know, I can do that easily. It's fine. I've done this sort of thing before. It's easy, right? You just sort of like, yeah. Magic energy sets the building on fire. Yes, maybe the machine explodes. Destroy the MacGuffin. Perfect. See, it works with the sort of works with sort of works with Buffy. That kind of we can make that fly. Everyone else a bit more difficult. You're no artist, but so now you see I am an artist. I've studied art history, and my favorite artist is MC Escher. Not only did he make wonderful mind-bending art, but he also did Escher Time. It was a hit song of the 80s. Also, yes, you are an artist. More of an artist than me. You make things without, you know, illustrative purpose. You make them to convey emotions. Symbol. Yeah, so that's that. So I'm assuming the big old lightning strike. And then we go to a place that is hostile. I don't know what hostile place we go to. So that's what I wanted to figure out first. But I guess we can work out what the first thing that happens there. We fight a boss, naturally. Completely unrelated boss. Doesn't have to do anything to the plot. Maybe it's just like random energy monster. I don't know. Yeah, what I was gonna do was got a lot of layers for this stream, but not a lot of drawing. Also, I did this with symmetry, didn't I? Yeah. Might not be what you wanted to see. End of sentence. Kapow! Boom! Boom! The machine explodes. Oh no, the building is now on fire. Party has to make their way outside, doing lots of dodges. Cool sequence. Meanwhile, Bran is kicking Grigori down the fence. Just every now and then, as you get to the new floor, you just hear ow! Like a distant metal clang. Ow! And then a loud metal clang as Rob faults on Grigori. Lightning that hits the building beats us to the ground where it becomes an energy beast. No, the energy beast is in a new location. Xylophone music playing. Gabe, sorry, I keep calling him Rob. Doesn't sound like xylophone, it sounds like guitar to me. And it's very faint. Ah! Scaling triangle. He wasn't listening. That's what I'm saying. The last thing that happens here is the mystical mumbo jumbo thing. You're being afraid of what you've drawn. Ooh, exciting time. Thinking of yesterday with the barn suddenly being on fire. Yeah. The first symbol of the next location is a boss. I've shown you. It's a boss. That's why we were talking about like there being an energy thing. I won't get too upset, because the vast majority of the time, you're right to pester me to do something, because I've usually forgotten. You have to wait for 2 seconds. These things happen. Okay, cool. So, we now need to go to a new dungeon. Or whatever. It's just hostile location. Incur a boss. And then get ready for the other 5 things that are going to happen. Yeah, there we go. It was going to be 6, but we moved 1. Wrong 2 seconds, yeah. Most of this stream is nonsense. There were 2 seconds that were important. Go down a secret tunnel that goes from the corp to outside the city or something. Or maybe the escape sequence isn't just a building, it's the city itself. And everyone's running. Everyone's running for their lives. And this has like echoes of the flashback that we had. Hang on, 6 or 7 months ago. No, hi, hi Schrodinger. Yeah, it has echoes of this big old chaos destruction thing. It's like that. Where was the first one? I can't remember where the first one was. No, that was when everything was fine. There, yes. Like this. It's like that! And that's the way it is. Huh! We planned everything! Yes. So what I'm going to do, is, for the sake of tradition, gonna copy paste this, and just replace crucial details. The buildings are now square. And these are now like streets. And it was like, this has happened before. We must work out how this was stopped There was something to do with the hippo goddess. How do we find the hippo goddess, etc.? And that's how the next part of the story is set up. They use this information that they have learned previously in order to solve the problem that they have now. Storytelling. History repeats. Because I don't know the last time the History Channel made original programming. Aha! Everybody stretch. Posture, check. And this here, this is the Tower of the Zibus Corporation. This is Big Z. It's full enough. Hey, look at that. That works. Works pretty well. Ew, you're connected to the hippo goddess. Summon them to fight the shrimp god or something. It's one, the last time that ended badly, I think. And two, I'm getting so tired of everybody mentioning this hippo goddess, but no one actually explaining what my connection is to them. I don't know who that is. Poisonous is just like, serious, how did you get this far? How did you get this far knowing absolutely nothing of what's happening? Although I should minor alteration. Just frog. Also no mushroom. We have used mushroom. Windows and stuff. Cool. So, we've only got 5 minutes. There's not much else to draw, really. So we can decide where we're going to go next, and what the boss is. I guess the boss could just be anything. Not extraordinarily important. In fact, it can't be extraordinarily important. Otherwise, it would be a different symbol. Listen, our strategy so far has been bonk people on the head, let Brad do the hard work, and ask questions that for some reason no one will actually answer. Seems fair. Everybody talks in a very cryptic fashion. Not conducive to us understanding what's going on. Also, at some point, Frame Man did have a little visit, so apologies if that was apparently it was just now, so that's nice. Flawless. Flawless. Absolutely flawless. So we're going somewhere hostile. Maybe it was a place that was previously fine and is now hostile? I don't know. What would we want the rest of this story to do? Like, presumably the final area is the final. You go through fight stories, stuff happens, final boss, conclusion. Was the city a previously friendly location? It was. So maybe the city, going back into the city now that it's all destroyed and full of monsters or something. That's an idea. Pretty sure it was friendly, yeah. It's not recognizable anymore, so I'm perfectly happy. Yeah, you really like that idea. I'm perfectly happy for us to now go through the city and it's all full of monsters and stuff. That feels quite That feels quite JRPG because we get to reuse assets. We're making this huge game. We've got to, you know, make the most of every asset we've made. Okay, so we can go through the city. We fight a random boss. Might be worth looking at the next symbol, I guess, so that we can actually plan a trajectory from it. Look. Of course, someone joins. Fu? Does Fu come back, maybe? Unlikely to be an entirely new character. Maybe Poison Nurse joins. I don't know. Fu and Poison Nurse? Goons? They all join. Everybody joins. We force Poison Nurse to join the party. Yeah, this is your doing. You're helping us fight it. That seems fair. There are plenty of JRPGs where a villain joins, if only temporarily. Actually, this is a bit like FF8, where TM joins halfway through. And that's not spoilers, because if you're going to play the game and you haven't watched the draw through, you're not going to know who TM is. You made this mess, you better help us. Also, Gregory and Brown joined, because you want to. I'm fine with that. Cool. Let's make some little avatars for them then. And then we get to come up with the boss as well. So we can have like no, this works. I mean, I prefer these symbols to be the other way around. But the idea of like these characters join and then there's like a big gauntlet of like enemies and stuff, and then there's a big boss at the end of it. Imgs. I'm gonna see these two run up to the party and Gregory to immediately swing an arm around his shoulder and start teasing. Okay, so what pictures do I have of these characters? I guess I could use their like official pictures. By which I mean the pictures drawn by you guys. Thing. Stealing your art, whether you like it or not. Look at him. I'm gonna leave it like that. Actually, that's great. So what? Yeah, what weapons do they have? What are their weapons of choice? Brample's Gregory back going, sorry for this idiot. Poison Disks goes, it's fine, I know him, he's my brother. Oh, so you're the sibling who brought the apocalypse. Let's go, Gregory, so we can go back to teasing. No, I'm the other one. Also, Schrodinger turns up and he joins. No. Oh, Gregory has a cane, of course, naturally. Brown has an arm. Quadnox? Is Brown like a scout? Like he can scan the enemy and work out their weaknesses with the Quadnox? I don't think we ever mentioned it on stream, did we? The Quadnock thing. Quadnock is quadnocular, as in binocular, but 4. And it comes from when we watched an SCP short film, and people had like quadnoculars, and I was trying to work out what is the what is the point of these things. Yes, okay, and now we need a picture of Poison Nurse. We can go back. Suddenly music. That was like a first proper picture, but there was like a close-up, wasn't there? Yeah. I may draw proper pictures between streams, but Oops. I'll save this as purse because Mo is saved as worse. Okay, and we can add to the team. First, Glory. So hopefully, yeah, look at them up there. We got a big party. Brand has strategic fighting as also a metal arm. Yes. They give a better field of view because you can move your eyes. You have found out. They still look incredibly useless. Yes, for unrelated reasons, I would like to know everybody's weapons. Zero reason at all. Because like Brad's got his rolling pin, which is fun. Mo's got broom. Wick has knife, naturally. Shovels. I have no idea what Jethro's got. I like the idea that he just sort of carries around a flower. It doesn't use it as the weapon, but that's like the thing you give him in the game. It's a bit like in FF7. Jethro has a positive attitude. Yeah, in FF7 the what do we call him? Leslie Knuckles, I think it was. Like his weapon is like a feather. So it doesn't have to make a lot of sense. Gil's got a loot. Onions, like a spanner or something. Bramble. Peridot just gets like progressively spikier sandals. Jethro can do nature magic, and different flowers given different abilities. Is more of a support character. Yeah. See, I always thought of him as more of like a kind of acrobatic, sort of thiefy sort of character. But I guess that makes sense. Also, we have a thief character. That's Onion. Okay, well, that was an unexpected twist at the end of the stream. we have a big party at the moment. We're getting like Final Fantasy VI levels of party size. It's like a feather hairpin for him or something. He doesn't actually fight with it. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I think at one point we said that Jethro was like a dancer class. Oh yeah. Or something like that. What's the next symbol? Oh, we're really getting ahead. The next symbol. I guess boss, we can do that quite quickly next time. Something to think about. Another boss! Well, I hope you're satisfied. There's a random boss, and then other people join the party, and then there's another boss. I guess it's appropriate, yeah. This is a chance for our characters to shine. Maybe a boss that's like specifically designed that Poison the Nurse and the goons can help with. Have a think about that. What would our powers combined? What boss would be best? That's homework. That's our homework for today, this week. What boss do we all need to chip together to fight? A big prawn spawn. Boss that helps show off their new stuff, yeah. And on that note, you hate trying to work out type matchups in Pokemon. They're all over the place. They largely exist for balance. So it's like, yeah, of course, Psychic and Bug have this relationship. Fairy and Steel, yeah, obviously this one's strong against this one because oh, stuff going on in Discord. Ah, right. Sure. Writing in the homework. Thanks for the good strips. Thank you for coming. It started off a little, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're actually setting up a decent sort of ending. It's very exciting. Cities being destroyed, we're running through, fighting monsters, teaming up with old villains. It's great. versus weak to sibling bullying but strong to idiocy. Yes. I mean, you say strong to idiocy. They did just accidentally summon a god. Gogori strong to siblings but weak to the law. Yeah, it's quite... it suffers a type, like, double damage bonus, but it also has high evasion. Yeah. 16 sim. Can we do like modern Pokemon with like sort of legalese being a type, and I like that idea. Social Pokemon. Sociamon. Steel beats Fairy because in fairy tales a lot of the villains end up dying to a simple steel sword. Really? I would have thought in a lot of fairy tales things don't die to steel swords and you have to get like silver or something. Modern Pokemon, the legal type, the sibling type, and the idiot type. The 3 genders. Which are you? I'm idiot. Oh, I guess I'm fluid between legal and idiot, but which is a dangerous combination. Yeah, thanks for coming to the stream. Tomorrow we will continue with Inside. Swoosh. I have not changed the name. Not Kato, we did Kato. Lovely though it was, no more. I hate that it doesn't center itself automatically. It's very annoying. I don't hate. It's a mild perturbation at best. I'm a legal idiot. Sounds like I got a certification. I spent 8 years studying maths at university. If that's not idiocy, I don't know what is. The last few weeks mean anything is you are too idiot type. We're all idiot type, and as a consequence, we are all immune to one another. Is idiot immune to idiot? Or is it just resistant? Maybe we heal. Idiot heals idiot. We absorb idiot. Yeah, so more Inside tomorrow. Lovely atmospheric horror creepy game. And it was made in Unity. I looked it up. I thought, oh, this feels like it's made in Unity. It is made in Unity, but they came up with their own rendering processing system because they wanted just the right atmosphere for it, and they made it open source, so I'm definitely looking that up. And they did a bunch of talks on it at GDC at how they made it, so I'm going to watch those as well after I've played the game, because spoiler. Idiot does double damage to idiots, but also has double resistance against idiots, so it cancels out. Love it. It just causes confusion. Cool. Freyman's not happy with the ending of this stream, but I am. I think this was a lovely time. Speaking of idiots, hi Ford. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming along. Inside tomorrow. Do we know this day probably on Thursday? No stream on Saturday. Saturday is RPG times for me. Forward, definitely idiot time. Those of you who support me on Patreon, I'm currently releasing the drawings of our characters from the Dishonored RPG that I did for Rando Toba. The fun one is tomorrow. I'm worried I've hyped it up too much. Can't wait to see what Carla will bonk his head against this Saturday. It's going to become a recurring theme, I'm sure. He's only got 4 health. He can't do it too much. Needs to find a way to heal. Bless him. To be fair, he's also not the sort of person who's going to jump into combat, so he'll just jump into the wall. Hey look, Dishonored. Nice. yeah, so that's that. Fun times ahead. Those of you who are not supporting me on Patreon, I will begin releasing those drawings in October. That's what they're for. Which begins on Friday, apparently. I'm also working on trying to get the second Call of Cthulhu highlights video done by hopefully Thursday. Be nice. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see. So I'll get that done and released for patrons, and non-patrons will then get the little Avonvale video I did previously. It's a new little format that I'm trying out as like a quick video to make in between larger videos. I could probably get a couple done if the time is taken to do this video is anything to go by. More Call of Cthulhu, yes. It's Ford again. Yeah, I don't like making videos longer than 20 minutes, but I literally can't edit it down. I've tried. I got it down from like 26 to 23, but yeah, it's a longer one because, like I say, I'm caught between trying to make it entertaining and trying to explain just how bad the game is. What again? The only time you're excited about Call of Cthulhu? Well, get excited doubly so, because next Wednesday I will probably be doing the speedrun. I've got to practice it. Hopefully I can get it consistently at about an hour and a half, maybe. Talk about idiots and an idiot will appear. Yes, indeedy. Yeah, so many things to look forward to. Lots of good fun times. Yeah. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for chucking in suggestions. This story's having a fun conclusion by the looks of it. If I was playing this game and this was happening in the conclusion, I'd be happy. Like, it's exciting. Call of Cthulhu speedrun. Yeah, I thought it's the thing I wanted to do because I watched the speedrun once we finished playing it, and the speedrun just destroyed the game. So I immediately went, I want to do that. I want to ruin this game. Yeah. You'll see. It's great. If I can do it right. That would mean you'd gone through the 7-hour staircase minigame. You would have thought it's one of those things where it's like, you know something good's going to be at the end of it. You're 3 hours in and you're like, I can do this. It's not like Desert Bus, you know, where the payoff is you get 1 point on a 5-digit display. Poor Parsnip. I've done worse, I'm sure. I've done the bloody Thunderbolt dodging minigame in Final Fantasy X. Dodged 200 RNG lightning bolts, QuickTime events. And if you get hit by one, you got to start again. Never doing that again. I need to stop talking. Thank you very much for coming along. I do mean it. It's very nice. It's always nice. I spelled breakdowns wrong in the scroll. I've just seen that. I've been scrolling this entire time. Didn't notice. You would think that I wrote that out 1 minute before the stream started and didn't spell check. I'm going to stop talking. Have a wonderful week, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with the spoopy games and etc. etc. Have a great time. Screw that lightning thing. You hated it. Yeah. But I want Lulu's special weapon. Why is it even Lulu's? Shouldn't it be Riku's? Anyway. Hey, King Vader. Actually, that's the point. Can someone type... Oh. Just want to test the thing. I guess I could type it. I don't know how long the delay is. Have a wonderful week too and good night. There it is. Yeah, it does work. That goes with the ah. I wanted a counterpart to the ah. Yes. Nobody's saying the Witch Doctor. Have a wonderful time, everyone. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great week. Yeah. Enjoy. Goodbye.